Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Hyrek, and thank you for joining another episode of SIP Chats. Today, we have Tommy Lee here, a very special guest from Fanvil. How's it going, Tommy?
Very well, Brian. How are you? Appreciate you welcoming
Awesome.
me on board.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is, I believe, your second time on the show now, and we
Yes.
always appreciate your industry insight and, of course, the insight into Fanvil and the brand and what you're doing.
Yep.
Your company and yourself, you guys recently made an awesome video for VoIP Supply for our 20th anniversary that we're very, very proud of. So thank you for that. That was
Uh, it was
cool.
it was a lot of fun. I mean, very often you get to celebrate a nice occasion like that. You've been in business for a long time, and we're happy to celebrate with you.
I really think it exemplifies what a true partnership is like, and no better than Fanvil to do it with. Tommy, I know you guys have some new things down the line, especially new phones that people have been buzzing about. We did a webinar, and we're getting so much feedback already and a lot of excitement going there. Do you want to tell everybody about the new series of phones?
Absolutely. In fact, as we're speaking here, many of these phones are already in transport, to VoIP supply as well. And that these things, we basically taken our baseline XU series, which is really our core line that we have for a lot of the different PBX manufacturers, whether it's hosted or on-prem, and just brought it up another level. And what do I really mean by that? Is that at least with the phones, we came out with a lot of different styles. We saw where some of the current solutions were lacking, and then we decided to integrate them into the phone. One thing we did is really simplify it. One of the things with the XU series that we've taken what historically was known as 12 different SKUs, and each one did a lot of little different things. One supported PoE, one supported color. What we've done is actually narrowed it down to really four. And with the new V series, we just basically narrowed it down to four as well, but really topped off so that every single model has all of the baseline features that anyone could look at, including a new add-on, which is being able to put in Wi-Fi integration. So both 2.4 as well as 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi will be integrated into the phone. That's really critical, especially now that people are working remote. Not everybody has a PoE switch in their wherever they're located at, and having Wi-Fi access, you could just plug it into any outlet and then be able to connect and use that as your Wi-Fi for communications as well. In addition to that, knowing our current environment, at least at our top couple of models, we actually put antibacterial plastics in there. So knowing that people have developed a level of I don't know, being sort of super clean, we decided to take antibacterial plastics and putting it onto the phone so that it is more resistant to being able to transmit. And this is true for a lot of the phones that go hand in hand in public, which typically a lot of our phones do.
Absolutely. Now, does every phone, you mentioned the Wi-Fi capability, does every phone in that V series offer Wi-Fi capability, or is it just
Yeah.
the flagship model, or?
Yeah, we have two flagship models. One is actually Android based, and the cool thing about the Android base is that that's got an integrated camera versus having to buy a separate camera putting it in, and it's also a tilt screen. But out of the four units, which is the V67, 65, and 64, all three of those top models support internal Wi-Fi. And then we have what we call the Essentials model, which actually has all of the gigi ports, and most of the basic things, except it does have a monochrome screen. That's why we call it Essentials, because with that, we realize that we also address a very cost-sensitive market, that we don't necessarily want to, give a person any more specification or cost that they need above and beyond their requirements. So we actually allocated one phone that you could just put on and that it'll do that same function. But as you move up, we would call that the workhorse with the V64, where all of a sudden that will include, Wi-Fi, color screen, all of the different capabilities that you're used to. And then beyond that, it's the V65, which is the Linux-based, that has the tilt screen and all of the different antibacterial plastics as well. And then we have the Android version, which is our top line, which is the V67. And that's dealt with touch screens, and you can have a lot of different features on there as well.
It's great. Will these
Mhm.
models be integrated into FDMS as well? Um,
Yes, in fact, they're all, since it's made by us and we have FDMCS, they all could be integrated onto that as well. And so, we were already in the pipeline and getting some of these things qualified by a lot of the popular PBXs that both of us support as well. And so when it comes out, I think on, some of the later releases, even when it comes to 3CX and more, they'll already be qualified as well. So
That's awesome. I know that FDMCS has been really integral to a lot of our partners and my partners personally that are enjoying it through VoIP Supply. So it's awesome that you guys do offer that tool set as well. Apart from the phones, I understand that there's also some paging gear and door access coming out as well. You want to touch upon that a bit?
that's correct. In fact, a real growing segment that we're addressing is really the door access units. When you think about, a lot of these new high rises that are being built, multi office settings that are happening, a lot of people look at that gate. People will either take a key code that they can put in. They could have an RFID access code moving forward if they want to do that. But either way, you could use that SIP interface to really access that access unit as well. Not only just phones, but it actually contains a lot of the core technology that many of the phones have today. And it's a way to allow the partners out there who are just doing telecommunications to really address more different solutions rather than just telecom. Because very often in a building, you have things from, elevators, door access, intercom units, and we're coming out with an intercom unit that is called the i6 series. And in the i6 series, we've taken what the existing series and made them more standard. So although the i30 was very popular with us, as well as yourself, and being able to sell many of those solutions, we actually integrated and made these components WeGAN standard so that you can use these units under a standardized interface so that people can actually plug in these devices and have the data interface under a more standard compliance beyond just SIP to kind of make the interface far easier to deploy.
It's really fascinating that you do say that because I think a lot of not just mainly end users and sometimes even resellers look at SIP as kind of one-dimensional, just being for your phones, your desktop phones. But getting into door access and paging equipment and all the mass notifications and everything from even fax machines over ATAs. There's really a lot that Fanvil addresses other than just the phone on the desk.
No, that's true. I mean, when you really think about it, we sell a device called the PA series. It could be the PA2 or PA3, but either of those really allows our partners to really put a SIP core into almost any communication interface. Take for example, an escalator, right? Most buildings have an escalator that goes up and down. You have an analog speaker in there in case somebody gets stuck. What happens when you upgrade a communication system in an office that is stuck only with analog? Well, or proprietary interface. When you upgrade that, how do you communicate with people? Well, you can use this device as sort of a SIP gateway that actually uses the existing device in the elevator and be able to retrofit that to work with SIP. Another big obstacle that is PA systems. Very often PA systems were managed through either a proprietary interface or an analog interface. And instead of upgrading to an IP speaker, which is an option, that becomes a very costly option to do. And with our gateway, you can actually put the SIP gateway in between the PBX and as well as the PA system to give you, the most leverage in using the hardware that already works and adopting that to work in a new SIP environment.
That's awesome. It really gives your customers so much more to integrate with when they go on site for a complete solution to their end user. And essentially, have one throat to choke as well.
It's true. I mean, when you think about it, a lot of our door access systems, as well as our PA systems, we support video as well. So reflective on our phones, we have the ability to show either one-way or two-way video on it so that you get VGA quality on our screens, which is something that you just go ahead and mount to. Or if you don't use our intercom systems, we could also support third-party IP cameras as well and have that displayed. So you can have that easy scenario where you're having this office or campus that's centered, that's centrally managed. It could actually see where all these cameras are, push a button, and then you could allow a person to get in or be able to set off alarms, just through a simple interface and having the clearest resolution possible on our phones if you want to.
That's great. It as companies like Fanvil, you are truly seeing everything become an all-in-one solution versus, trying to piecemeal. This is what we do for our door access control. This is our phone system, and then, everything's scattered. Sometimes you get into these scenarios, and it's basically a rat's nest of different systems trying to communicate together, essentially, but
Correct.
not able to do so.
In fact, I mean, one of the things that Fanvil does is that we build SIP endpoints is really the way to it. We don't manufacture the PBX switch, although we devote a lot of resources to be fully compatible with the most popular switches out there. But we actually develop endpoints out there that really touch, the human interface, whether it's the button, the RFID card, the intercom, all of these different pieces where people touch will be there to sort of be that bridge between the person as well as the new communication system that they'll end up using.
It's really awesome. It's such a valuable partner to have in an integrator's portfolio, Fanvil, that offers that breadth of solutions, and you're really providing, a solution to the customer, not just checking one box. That's awesome. What about, taking those units for a test drive once they hit the markets? Are we coming out with any test drive bundles or anything like that to familiarize the customers with the new lines?
Absolutely. One of the things that Fanvil has done is we create what we call a test drive bundle program. Most service providers or integrators typically integrate one basic unit and one high-end unit, depending on what their needs are. And what we've done is work with you, VoIP Supply, to really bundle in a basic unit as well as a high unit through all of our different systems, whether they're current XU products or whether they're new V-Series products, or even the new I-Series products that we're all releasing. We'll be announcing test drive bundles that are going to be expanded upon where they are today to include these new products, so that if someone's a little curious, they can go ahead and really get a one-time buy and really be able to say, hey, does this really work with us? And not only that, we also, as a manufacturer, have invested and put in local technical support from the manufacturer, based on local time frame. So if you run into an issue, not everybody offers that, and we actually have local engineering here, so that if you're stuck in the field or you happen to run through a problem, give us a call. You also have technical staff on your side as well that can help, but at least a combination of all the different people, we can at least turn it around for all of our partners to provide a solution when they most need it.
Absolutely. And I can say firsthand, I've experienced Fanvil support, and it is awesome. It's so great to have such a response and to have someone local that actually cares and is very granular in solving the problem, not just, sending out a link to a wiki or something of that nature. It's very granular and really a white glove experience and a partnership versus, some other manufacturers out there. So that's kudos to you guys. You guys are doing an awesome job with that.
Agreed. I mean, we realize we're a growing brand, and we have to find out ways to differentiate ourselves. And one way to do that is that we realize that when you adopt a new brand, along with it comes with a lot of, even though it's based on SIP, there's always going to be twists and turns that you're going to have to do. We're going to try to minimize that impact for many of our partners up front.
That's great. And I would definitely encourage you guys to check out those bundles once they are launched. We have seen Fanvil's bundles in the past, and the pricing is super attractive to get those units in your hands. Tommy, I really appreciate you sharing everything that you did with us today and your time as well. I know you're a busy guy and really heading off growing the brand for Fanvil. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I would. The same appreciation goes to you as well, Brian. I'm here to really help out. Even though we're trying to work it all, we're basically here for our resellers and the service providers and integrators. And any questions, feel free to reach out to Brian or myself. And we're here to kind of be a tool on your tool belt to be able to achieve your projects as successful as possible.
Absolutely. And you heard it direct from Tommy Lee of Fanvil that Fanvil is there to be another tool in your tool belt. And they certainly have the skill set and the product set to back that up. I can vouch for that personally. And please reach out to me if you ever have any needs, wants, desires with Fanvil, would like to learn more, or get some demos in your hands as well. I can help you guys directly with that. I'll post my contact information down below. And Tommy, I really want to thank you again for your time today. And to all of our audience as well, thank you so much. We appreciate you tuning in to another episode of SIP Chats. And if you would like to see a topic discussed next time we have Fanvil on, please comment below. We would love to address that for you and open that up. Also, hit like and subscribe, as we'd love to keep this SIP Chat series going. Thanks so much, Tommy, and thank you everyone for tuning in.
Thank you very much, everybody.